Hello, welcome. I am Carson, and I'm going to teach you how to solve using factoring 1 quadratics. Follow these steps and you'll be acing this in no time. This will be the problem that we're using today. X squared minus 10x plus 24 equals 0. First we would need the factors that multiply to 24 but add to negative 10. These would be negative 6 and negative 4. Now we take the two numbers we found in the last step and add x to them, and then set them equal to 0. You would add 6 and add 4 to both sides, respectively, allowing the answer to be x equals 6 and x equals 4. Now I will show you how to solve a problem using difference of squares quadratics. The problem we will solve is 18x squared minus 2. First you find a number that both can be divided by. In this case it would be 2, on 2 parentheses 9x squared minus 1 end parentheses. Now you split the 9x squared minus 1 into two formulas, 3x plus 1 and 3x minus 1. Now you divide both sides by 2, which would leave you with 3x plus 1 and 3x minus 1, and then you set both of those to 0. You would add and subtract 1 from both sides, leaving you with 3x minus 1 and 3x equals 1. Then you would divide both sides by 3, which would leave you with x equals negative 1/3 and positive 1/3. Now I will show you how to solve using factoring 2 quadratics. The problem that we will be solving is 3x squared plus 8x minus 16. First we take the first number, which is 3, and multiply it by the last number, which is 16. You get negative 48, and then you find what factors into that, what multiplies to that, and that would be 12 and negative 4. And then you would add those two to get 8, which would be the second number. So you would replace 8x with 12x and negative 4x. After this, you would find what divides into both equations and have one common equation that you can use. When you come here, just use 3x minus 4 and then x plus 4. Now you would do 3x minus 4 equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. You would do x plus 4 equals 0, which then you'd subtract 4 from both sides, and you get x equals negative 4. Now for the other one, you would have 3x minus 4 equals 0. You would add 4 to the other side, and then divide by 3. You would get x equals 4 over 3. I will show you how to solve using the square root method quadratics. The problem that we will be using is 5x squared minus 40 equals 0. First you would add 40 to both sides. Now we would get 5x squared equals 40. Now you would take 5x squared equals 40 and divide both sides by 5. That would be x squared equals 8. Then you would square root both sides to get x equals square root 8. Then you would factor out square root 8, and that would be 2 and a 4, and then 2 times 2 times 2, which would get you to x equals 2 square root 2. Now we are going to solve using completed square quadratics. The problem we will be solving today is x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. You would add 5 to both sides, and then you would place onto both sides an equation which is parentheses x over 2 and parentheses squared. You would place the second number in the equation, which would be negative 2, for the x, and then solve it. When you do that, you get x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 5 plus 1. Now we try and find what adds to negative 2 and what multiplies to positive 1. that would be -1 and -1. Then you would place that into your formula, and you would get x minus 1 squared, which then you equals 6, and then you'd square root both sides. When you do that, you get x minus 1 equals square root 6, and then you add 1 to the other side, getting x equals 1 plus square root 6. Now I will show you how to solve using quadratic formula. This is the quadratic formula. Remember it. Pause the video right now so you can write this down and remember it. This will be the equation that we use. 3x squared equals 2 parentheses 2x plus 1. After we distribute, we get 3x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. Now we've split this off into 3 different categories. Group A, which is the first number, 3. Group B, which is the second number, -4. And Group C, which is the number -2. Now using our good friend, the quadratic formula, which is minus b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a equals x. Now you would plug in everything for b, which would be -4, and you'd plug in everything for a, which would be 3, and you'd plug everything for c, which would be -2. Now, 4 times 3 times -2 equals 24, and then 4 squared equals 16, then 2 times 3 equals 6, so you'd find -4 plus or minus square root 16 plus 24 over 6, and that's your second part. And then you add those two together, you get 40, so you do -4 plus or minus square root 40 over 6. Now you would take the square root of 40 and solve it, and you would get 2 times the square root of 10. You place that into your equation, and then you divide by what they're all equal to, which would be 2. You would get x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 10 over 3, and that is how you solve it. Wow, that was insanely boring.